Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, financial institutions advised to minimize costs to avoid the negative impact of current economic condition on their businesses as the domestic debt exchange bites on their operations. Also coming up, the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies warns current economic risks will compel members to be strict in advancing loans to businesses to avert loan default, and accounts of bonds not swapped under the domestic debt exchange program to be credited today as Bank of Ghana finalizes payment process to commercial banks. Details coming up. My name is Darryl Kwao. Great to be with you this 15th day of March. First up, senior partner at auditing firm KPMG, Anthony Sapon, has advised financial institutions to minimize costs to avoid the negative impact of current economic condition on the operations following the completion of the domestic debt exchange program. He's also urging them to stick to good corporate governance principles. According to him, this will strengthen the operations of financial institutions to stay robust and safe. Mr. Sapon was speaking to Joy Business after receiving the international honors on behalf of KPMG Ghana for its contribution to the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
The collapse of businesses and institutions continue to happen throughout history, today and also into the future. What is important is that for all collapses, we all learn from it. One is in terms of appropriate governance structures. Normally, when you have governance structures, they help you to be able to avoid or notify early pitfalls. The second is risk management, or in simple terms, not punching above your weight. There are sometimes businesses fail because they take on more than they can cover. And therefore, if you stay within your limit and your strength, you will again be able to weather the storm. And then the third one is always keeping your good resources and making sure that they act properly.
All right, Anthony Sapon, the senior partner at auditing and accounting firm KPMG, speaking to Joy Business after receiving the national honors on behalf of KPMG for its contribution to the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. And guess who also received honors on that day? CEO of the multimedia group, Kwesi Chum, also was honored yesterday for his contribution to the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Well done, sir. Now, the Association of Savings and Loans Companies has hinted that the current economic condition could pose new risks to borrowers that will require lenders to be very careful when advancing loans. Already, some private businesses have expressed fears that there could be liquidity challenges due to the haircut suffered by some financial institutions under the domestic debt exchange program. Now, speaking to Joy Business, the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies, Chinibwa Kodiabuache, warned that high risk of default will require strict application of rules to protect the remaining funds circulating in the financial system.
Where there are new risks, you also take new measures. And what is the new risk? Now, people are also defaulting from loans that we granted to them. So if you get some customers defaulting because they are blaming the economy or other factors, then you as a financial institution, you need to ensure that you go by the right processes. You ensure that you continue to streamline or strengthen your internal processes, your appraisal processes, perfection of collateral, and also the most important thing is to do an analysis that supports that the customer will be able to pay back, so that the one who brought his money will get it when they need it.
Executive Secretary of the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies, Chinibwa Kodiabuache. Now, accounts of bonds that were not swapped under the domestic debt exchange program should be credited beginning today. Joy Business understands the Bank of Ghana is in the process of finalizing the necessary payments to the commercial banks this morning. Here's George Yafe.
These payments are being made after issues surrounding how the Bank of Ghana is now treating Finance Ministry's accounts at the central bank was resolved. The challenge made it impossible for the payments to be made on March 13, 2023 to these bondholders. This is despite the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, approving these payments from his end last Friday. The Bank of Ghana has in a subtle way started enforcing what some are describing as zero financing of government operations. This has led to the Bank of Ghana halting all overdrafts in government accounts unless necessary funds are in place for these payments to be made. Well, all those issues have been resolved now, and when the commercial banks received the bulk payments from the central bank from this morning, they will kickstart the process to credit all the bondholders' accounts by close of work today. This should mean that some will get their payments today, while others will get it from tomorrow. However, remember that the payments will cover bonds that matured on 6th of February 2023 and February 13, 2023. This is because the Finance Ministry has announced that it will come out with the payment plan on bonds that matured from February 20 and March 7, 2023.
George Afe with that report. Businesses have been advised to desist from issuing value-added tax invoices which have not been integrated into the Ghana Revenue Authority system. According to tax partner at accounting and auditing firm PwC, Abegu Jan Kwanzaa, such practice could land the firms in trouble, and he disclosed this at the quarterly tax dialogue seminar series on the implication of the EVAT on businesses in Ghana, hosted by the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce in partnership with PwC Ghana.
If you are issuing an invoice and that invoice is coming up from a system that have not been integrated into the GRA system, then you are possibly issuing an invoice you should not be issuing. A problematic invoice. And that was my problem when they went to Parliament, and I was saddened that Parliament gave the approval. Because as we speak now, we are all potential lawbreakers because people are in queue to ensure that they issue those invoices.
You heard Abegu Jan Kwanzaa, tax partner at auditing and accounting firm PwC. Now, some beverage manufacturers are planning to increase the prices of their products in the coming days following the latest directive by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure all dutiable goods are checked and validated. They say the revenue measure will rather shoot prices up, defeating government's quest to meet its revenue target. Reacting to this development, Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, Samuel Agri, told Joy Business the directive would have to be relooked.
Most people are not too sure whether we are still going to have some price hikes in going forward. I should say yes, because if you look at the interventions that are being made, unfortunately, things will become more scarce and more expensive, if I may say so. So we need to look at the whole setup as government is trying to direct us which way we should go. The most unfortunate aspect of it is that we always take decisions before engaging stakeholders. And therefore, when you engage stakeholders, what will be the next action for you to take?
Samuel Agri, Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana. Energy strategist Suleimana Yusuf has called for a risk assessment of the Good for Oil policy to ensure that it meets the intended aim of reducing the prices of fuel. According to him, the policy must be able to bring down prices of petroleum products drastically to meet its intended aim. He was speaking at an engagement with the British High Commissioner.
The acid test with respect to this policy is that, is it doing the intended policy that it is intended to do, or is it achieving the intended aim or objective that it is supposed to do? If, let's say, we can achieve that 50% penetration rate, where the other 50% will be relieved in terms of the pressure on the dollar, then we should have drastic reduction. So, and I'm putting it in March based on the release that was given, that they will be able to cover that 50%. So if by March or beyond March that we don't see that drastic impact, I believe we need to relook at the policy.
The thoughts of energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Suleimana. Now, products of Ghanaian furniture design company Tekura were featured in Marvel's Black Panther movie Wakanda Forever. Managing director Audrey Forson didn't see it coming. Now, Tekura is on the drive to protect African culture and artistry, and is going well so far. The Joy Business van is at the production hub in Accra.
This is a table. Okay. The midsection has been carved and the top was turned. You can see the chisel marks are used to form part.
This Wednesday on the Joy Business Van, we are at Tekura, the hub for accent furniture, decor, and a host of unique accessories. drawing inspiration from African artistry and culture.
Our culture is now the most sought after, if I should say. We've gone full circle and we've come back to African design. Now, even in Hollywood, you're seeing movies and music paying attention to elements from the continent, from the motherland, which is here. So we're using the traditional drums to still make music. We're bringing in all sorts of things. We're wearing textile that are, the designs are picked from here. So I say it's a good time to be African, and it's a good time to be in the business of Africa, let me put it that way.
More from the MD of Takura, Audrey Forson, this Wednesday on the Joy Business Van. All right, so do make a date, 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel, the story behind Takura. Before we leave, a check on the markets, beginning with the commodity market. Crude oil went up marginally to open trading at $78 a barrel. Gold lost almost $4, selling this morning at $1,900 an ounce. Cocoa, however, open trading at $2,658 a ton after going up by $5. On the currency market, dollar going for 12 cedis 55 pesos on the forex or retail market. The pound going for 14 cedis 90 pesos, and the euro selling at 13 cedis 3 pesos. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for listening. Here's more of the Super Morning Show with Kojo Yankson.